Second weekend of the Under-26 Nations starts the same way as the Guinness Senior equivalent will conclude on Sunday, with Italy hosting England. The age group fixture takes place right up here in the northeast corner of the country, a long way from the capital, Rome. But this is Italy's rugby heartland. Treviso, half an hour or so's drive north of Venice, the home of the great Benetton club, where several of those in action wearing the Azzurri blue on Sunday ply their weekly trade. Well, as they did last week, all three matches in this second round of Under-20 internationals go ahead this evening, though kick-off here is 1 hour ahead of the matches in Colwyn Bay and Aix-en-Provence. The table reflects just how important the match is between France and Ireland. Like their senior colleagues, it promises to have a major impact on the outcome of the championship itself. Defending champions England do perhaps remain favourites, though, that after their powerful second-half performance in Edinburgh last Friday night. Well, good evening. I'm Martin Gillingham. Alongside me, the former England scrum half, Dowie Morris. Good evening, Dowie.
Good evening, Martin. Yeah, perfect conditions here. There's only allowed 2,000 though in the crowd. I think it holds up between 4,000 or 5,000 initially, but because of COVID, there's 2,000. But I'm looking forward to a good game.
Yes, the rule in Italy at the moment is 50% of the capacity, so there is a maximum of 2,500 here tonight, with 5,000 the capacity. Down in Rome on Sunday, we're expecting something like 30,000 fans, but we're told that the regulations will be eased throughout the course of February and into March, so that by the time we get to the last home game in the Six Nations for Italy, we might have a more substantial gathering in the Stadio Olimpico. Well, England took a while to start moving through the gears against Scotland last Friday. They trailed at half-time, and it was only when the Scots went down to 14 men going into the final quarter that England really started asserting themselves, scoring 3 tries in the last 17 minutes. So plenty of changes being made by Alan Dickens this evening. Well, there were signs in last year's Six Nations that Italian rugby had turned a corner, but a couple of steps forward, perhaps followed by 1 step back last week at Mont-de-Marsan. 3 tries conceded in the opening half hour settled the contest in favour of France, and they will be hoping for a more significant improvement tonight. And out comes our referee, that is Aurélie Groiselot of France, former France international at both 15s and 7s. It's the traditional walk that we have here at the Stadio Comunale di Monaco, the home of the Benetton club. And it is actually the same officials team that we saw in Edinburgh last weekend for the match between England and Scotland. So the 2 teams line up in front of the main stand, and well, rugby's all about national pride and uncompromising physicality once the first whistle is blown, but there is one aspect in which all sides stand together, and that is the stance rugby is taking against racism. So the formalities of the anthems, and we'll start with God Save the Queen.
Signore e signori, l'inno nazionale d'Italia.
Well, if the way that national anthems are sung and celebrated were worth anything on the scoreboard, Italy would have a 10-point start. Here's their team. The Italy coach, Massimo Brunello, has kept changes to a minimum, just 2, both in the pack. Lapo Frangini missed the trip to France because of injury. He's at hooker. Carlo Bellesi comes into the back row. Scrum half Alessandro Garbisi is the younger brother of Paolo, who starts against England in Rome on Sunday. Lorenzo Pani, he was part of that strong Italy team in last season's championship. Well, as for England, they make half a dozen alterations. Finn Baxter returns from club duty with Harlequins to captain the side. Emeka Ilioni comes straight into the number 8, or in at number 8, I should say. Toby Knight, who had been a bit of an injury doubt, he moved to the open side but is fit to go. Jamie Benson made the backline tick over nicely when he came off the bench against Scotland, and he starts at 10. George Hendy comes in at fullback. Here are the replacements. Italy hooker Tommaso Scramoncin has dropped to the bench after starting in Mont-de-Marsan. If he gets on, the Leicester Tiger Sam Edwards will make his debut at this level for England. So there is the referee. Aurélie Guizzolo played for France at both 15s and 7s. Her career, her playing career, that is, cut short by injury. And she turned swiftly and quite smoothly to becoming a referee. So we're all set to go in Italian rugby's heartland. Can Italy find something that they struggled to get hold of in the opening half hour in Mont-de-Marsan? As for England, well, there were 1 or 2 gremlins against Scotland, particularly in the opening hour. They will hope that their engine just ticks over that little bit more smoothly this evening. Well, it's a clear night. There's no wind blowing out there. It's pretty mild as well. It's a stunning night in Italy. And England looking to make it 2 out of 2. And there's a big hit, Dowie. And we expect the Italians to try and match England for physicality.
Yeah, and that was the same thing I think that I expected to do against France down in a rainy Mont-de-Marsan last Friday. Unfortunately, they just didn't roll the sleeves up. France got an early start. They lost too many balls in key positions and really didn't get a foothold in that first half. But they're a settled side, they're a big side, they're a passionate side. It's just where they can convert that passion into points.
Good exit there from Matty Jones. Anything up towards halfway is good. It certainly is one feature when you watch Antoine Dupont now, the World Player of the Year. And don't forget, he was playing at this level just 6 seasons ago. His exits from the 22, even deep in them, Dowie, can go beyond halfway.
Well, it is a big part of the modern game, and that's part of the modern game, nicking a throw. So a good start for England.
Yes, it was Alfie Bell. The 2 locks for England, both 6'8".
Not holding, number 10.
First carry there from Emeka Ilioni, who has had 1 or 2 injury problems in recent times. He wasn't considered for selection last week, sent back to his club, the Leicester Tigers, and he's back here in his 2nd season at this level.
Well, that's the other thing with Italy. They are prone for giving away a lot of penalties. There's the big fella going through the middle. That's okay. He can place the ball now, and they're off their feet, stopping the procedure of that ball out the back, and a penalty given straight away.
So John Stewart, the Bath hooker, finds one of the big fellas, Tom Lockett, on there from Benson. Jamie Benson at fly half tonight for England. There from Grayson. England looking to get the ball through the hands, but perhaps a little bit like last week, not quite as slick as it might be. That was taken in by the wing, Diego Bailey. Bailey, one of the survivors from last year, but now it's England who are penalised holding the ball in the tackle.
Yeah, but you've got to understand, you know, this under-20s is a fantastic competition. It's a great pathway for the future of these guys, for both Italy and for England. But England come in making 6 changes today. Obviously, it was almost a fresh squad from the ones from last year that was played down in Cardiff. So you are going to be a bit rusty, because it's the exuberance of youth, I think it's called, Martin. These guys want to impress. And that lad, Henry Arundel, man of the match, certainly impressed. But like you said, pre-season in those Indies, he's playing for London Irish tonight.
Yes, Davide Odiese, who plays on the blindside flank tonight for Italy, was very quick there at the breakdown for Italy. He forced a turnover. Rising high there was Otombina, one of the Italy try scorers last week. England have come in from the side, so there's a penalty advantage. That's Frangini, unavailable last week against France, so it's a free hit here to the Italians. Bit of space here. The England defence just found itself a little bit narrow for a moment. This is Pani within 6 metres. Tremendous start here from the Italians. Out there from Garbisi. England being forced into making tackles here.
No advantage.
Referee decides there's no advantage. England having come in from the side, so Garbisi just going over there to weigh up his options.
Number 5.
The referee stamping her authority on the game straight away. She wants a quick game. She wants people off that ball. And it's all Italy at the moment, isn't it? This is what they wanted to do against France. And unfortunately, they weren't able to. They're a very strong side, cohesive. And again, it's a play to nothing now. The penalty's already given, so they can have that free play and see what happens. Unfortunately, they give a penalty away, but it comes back to there. Here they go again. I think they won't do anything different. They'll be catching drive time.
So it's Frangini. Goes to Odiese. Frangini going in there to get the ball. The maul at the moment being defended pretty well by England, but now it's going forward for the Italians. Frangini just losing his footing. Who's going to take control of this? It's a little bit slow from the Italians. A chance for the England defence to reset itself. That England player just has to get out of the way. Little pick and go, but the ball lost there. Did it slip forward? The referee says not. Odiese just being pushed to one side. The big fellas are lining up here. 1 metre out, the Italians. Perhaps one more go this time. Balesi getting his hands on the ball. Just a few blades of Treviso grass there. England have come in from the side. So once again, the penalty advantage back there to Taneji. The cross kick, Pani's underneath it! And he's dropped it. He's put it down. There is the frustration for Italy.
Shades of Murrayfield there. Was no Cowan-Dickie on the field at this time. He dropped it, scored a cracker in that second half. Batter again. It's a free play and the right thing to do. Orchestrated from the fly half when that ball eventually comes out. We will see from this angle. He catches it. Oh, he doesn't catch it. Straight through the bread basket. If he had caught it and just flopped on, that would have been the try. As it is, they go back and they'll just go for 3.
Well, it's an interesting call from Italy, this, because England had conceded 2 penalties in that so-called red zone.
And that does get in referees' minds, and they're thinking, right, well, I would have, to be truthful, I would have popped this into the corner and said, right, OK, we've won 2 good lineouts, we've had 2 good drives, let's force England's hand again. They ratchet up the penalty, they go down to 14. But there again, some people say points on the board. Well, he's got to get it now. That's the decision.
These two sides last met on the final day of last year's under-26 nations, which because of the pandemic.
On the line.
There you go, the referee just telling all the England players to get behind the line. They met on that final day in Cardiff. England winning it by 27 points to 17. And Taneji, who was knocking them over with ease in warm-up, has taken that form into the match itself. Italy lead by 3 points to 0. Poor old Lorenzo Pani, he's kicking himself.
Yes, he is. That's what the Wiggers are on the field for mostly to do, is to get the 5 points out. But again, it's been a good start from Italy. It's whether they can control this ball, take it into areas that they can exit from and also attack from.
Carry there from the captain Ferrari at number 8. One of the biggest men on the pitch, and it is remarkable. The majority of these players still in their teens, and we've got 2 players at 6'8". And look here at the enterprise. That's Odiese taking play up to halfway on from Garbisi. The Italians looking to play with wit. Ferrari with the dummy. Brought down Wardle, that was, who came across to make the tackle. Garbisi again onto Taneji. Here's Pani, no problem with the pause on that occasion, but perhaps unaware that he was rather running out of real estate here under the main stand.
Well, they're showing their hand on and they can play it tight. They've got the big runners.
Yeah. Time off.
And again, it's the contact area they're getting through England at the moment. England aren't able to stop them, put a few dominant tackles in, and these guys can handle. There you go, bit of handoff, and look at this ball. Sorry, get his arms up, get his arms free, popping the ball inside, get your big runners on the ball, and then they stretch it right across the other side of the field. Good play.
And if we compare, Dowie, where these players ply their trade regularly for their clubs, the majority of the England players are in the academies, just bubbling beneath the surface of the first team at the big clubs in England, the Harlequins, the Saracens, the Wasps, the Baths, the Leicesters. Most of these Italians here are playing in the Italian top 10, which is, it's quite a significant gap from the 2 professional clubs, fully professional clubs.
And that's the difference. I was talking to Conor Richet today. I was talking to Tommy Bell, who actually is playing at Benetton. What do they have to do, Italy? And to expose these youngsters to really sort of white-hot situations week in, week out, and they don't have it, but they've started brilliantly tonight.
There's a good tackle from Lazzarin on Hendy, the fullback, who, when he gets going, he really can canter. Popped up there by Benson, playing impromptu scrum half. The ball was out. That was entirely legal. England failing to protect it. Well, carried forward by Rizzoli.
That was because Jones did quite well to get that ball back initially, but no one stepped in to be number 9.
Genovese, the tight head, and Emeka Ilioni, there he is, the big Leicester Tiger.
He's a big lad, and he does well. England not getting it their own way, and this is it. It's good attack mode. Ball going in, and look at that, holding on. Again, he's got the hold of his weight. That's the mistake happening. You can see Jones coming in on the ball. Unfortunately, he was on the bottom of a wreck prior to that, and that's what happened. But England just scrapping that ball back, and that's what you need. Big lads over top of the ball, doing it perfectly well and retaining back possession.
Yeah, I must say I'm fascinated watching Emeka Ilioni play tonight. The last time I saw him, I think he was 14, because he used to play in the same club side as my son in Nottingham.
Big appetite, did he then?
He certainly filled out a bit since then, but he really is a brilliant athlete. Learnt his rugby at the Nottingham Corsairs club before moving on to the Tigers, and this time it's the Italians who turn it over. So both sides struggling to protect the ball, their own ball, at the breakdown.
Well, it's the pace of the game is catching people out, on both sides. They're going in, you can see the pod systems there. You got the two hooker taking in second row and tight head prop. But again, if you're not quick enough on that ball, and Italy are, they can stop it. That invariably what gives away. You got the captain now, Finn Baxter, just having a word.
The ball is available.
But it's all about speed, isn't it? They want, size one quick ball to distribute to the backs. Equally, sometimes you can get isolated then by good defensive side and one guy over top of the ball who just rips it off you.
Well, 4 penalties conceded by England in the opening 10 minutes. Coaches often say that it's very difficult to win matches if you concede a double-digit number of penalties in the entire match. Carried forward there by Passarella, taking play inside the 22. On there from Odiese, who is getting about tonight. Couple of grabs taken there by Garbisi, but the referee was right on hand to spot the knock-on.
From right.
There he is, Alessandro Garbisi.
Younger brother. But again, you can see the intent is there. Big second row. Otunbena taking that ball in, and it's just there. He just makes a slight mistake. Still held on by the second row. But this thing, no, they do happen. Again, it's when you're trying to play with pace, it's that precision of placing the ball there for the 9. Didn't quite get there. So England again, another chance to. Oh, off we go.
Break foot.
Quickly taken by Matty Jones, the Gloucester scrum half. Here's Ethan Grayson, son of Paul Grayson, the former England fly half, but Matty Jones not gathering that, but then just a little knock-on from Italy. And Carlo Barlesi, the back row for Italy, really, they're getting around, aren't they?
They are, they're putting a lot of pressure on. They know that it's England's, even though England were losing that game against Scotland at half-time when it was at 12-10, and they went on eventually to win quite comfortably. But it's all about the pace. It's all about getting England runners going from deep, and that's what they want to do. Hence, obviously, that Italian back row know that they've got to get the heat up at the breakdown, and that's the key area for both sides at the moment. Who can get that ball away clean? Because I think both sides want to attack. England definitely do.
I think the message from the Italy coach Massimo Brunello fairly clear. We can't afford an opening 20 like we saw in France last week, but now the penalty has gone the way of England. So a chance here for England to catch breath and maybe set up a decent field position. It would be for the first time tonight. It's taken 13 minutes.
There we go. England all standing up and Italy long-legged, and hence they go down. But everyone appeals. The referee's given that decision. I think it is correct. The power would have come on for England. Like you said, it's a rare opportunity just outside the 22. England haven't been down this area at all.
Lockett rising high, and there was an Italian just catching hold of his arm, which is illegal, so there is a penalty advantage here.
On the line out, we have a grab in the air. Grab your arm in the air.
There, you heard it from the referee, grabbing the arm in the air.
Again, you're not allowed to touch anybody.
Yeah, in the air. Grab the arm. Yeah.
Yes, it's Alessandro Otunbena who was the guilty party.
You think initially it's going to be malicious and something sort of taking a person off balance and making it dangerous for them, but you're not allowed literally to touch anybody's hand in the air, arm. He obviously did. You saw that from the pictures, and now England nudged closer to the line. They like a catch and drive. There's the information going across.
So 14 minutes gone. England into the Italy 22 for the first time tonight. John Stewart goes again for Lockett. One of those two 6'8" locks they've got. Both are very good line-out options for England. Matty Jones starting in place of Tom Carr-Smith tonight. The Gloucester scrum half being told to use it by the referee. Benson is waiting for it. They miss out Benson, go on to Grayson. There's Benson. Good tackle coming in the midfield from Fazzari. Well, I'm not too sure that tackle was legal. And perhaps the television match official, Eric Gozan, wants to look at that as the ball was taken forward by Ilioni. This is rather better from England. That's Litchfield getting caught.
No, play on.
There's Jones again, going out wide. That's to Wardle.
Release, tackle!
The carry forward from Alfie Bell, the Wasp. This is rather better from England, the best we've seen tonight from them. That's Finn Baxter. Another penalty advantage. This time it's Italy coming offside. Cutting in field, there was more. That's the Italy try line you can see in the background.
Well, Italy have learned from Montemasson last week. I think you're right.
No.
Something the referee needs to check with the TMO illegal tackle. I think you're right, Martin. But again,
7 offside or in the line-out.
we'll listen in.
Captain. So in the line-out, it's a second penalty for the same thing. Your number 4 props the arm in the air. So no, it's finished.
Is it just the contest?
No. Keep the arm. Okay?
Giacomo Ferrari there just clarifying exactly what it is. You're not allowed again to touch it on. That's 2 penalties on the row. But again, you've got to admire the line speed that Italy put into this game. Something that, again, to go back to the point, they didn't do down in Montemasson. But again, it's a fine line when you're firing off that line, trying to stop England. You do buy a few penalties, and that's exactly what's happening. England want to calm things down, get the ball back to Stewart and start all over again. Remember, Italy on 2 penalties for taking that arm out. Hopefully for them it's not a third.
John Stewart, his 3rd appearance for England tonight at this level. The turn now of the Azzurri Blue to defend the more, and they've done a very good job of it. Jones feeds out. That's on to Grayson. Jones again, change of direction. Ilioni had to check his stride just for a moment to grab that, but he made good ground from a standing start. Jones, there goes Bell, powering his way forward. 4 metres out here, England. Jones feeds the ball out. Litchfield, tremendous hands. The floated pass. And it's finished off by Diego Bailey. But I think the referee wants to check something here with her assistant.
Crossing.
No advantage.
She doesn't want to use the TMO tonight. Eric Gozan can go home. She's making those decisions with help from the touch judge. Again.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Why waste 2 minutes? It's the guy that's gone past. That was a try scored, no problem at all by Bailey, but unfortunately it was the guy in front who didn't quite catch the picture. Maybe you did, Martin, but again, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to take anyone out the way that a try scoring opportunity could happen. So Italy live again. Again, their line speed is outstanding. Good play. Well, a good attacking play from England, good defence from Italy, and a good decision from the referee.
Well, it's the same officials quartet we saw in Edinburgh last weekend for the game between Scotland and England.
Did he not pull him across? Did the defender not pull the attacker across?
No,
Finn Baxter just
as
clarifying, I think it's the polite way of referring to it.
As captains are allowed to, you can inquire to the referee. Actually, he's saying, did the Italian defender, did he actually pull the defender rather than cross it himself? So he actually pulled the defender into him. But it's gone, it's scratched off, it doesn't matter. I think we've got a good game here.
9.
And that's key for Italy. Scrum and line, it has to be clean. Oh dear, there's another one.
Oh, but then it's knocked on by Stewart. So Italy breathe again, but they've lost 1 already and almost lost a second.
Here it is. I thought he'd come off his knee, but he didn't. Stewart just got his fingers on it as well. We're going to say England will not be happy, or, you know, Alan Dickens won't be happy with this start. It's a bit sluggish, but credit to Italy. I mean, they have really fired up their defence. They know they have to get into England's faces, make it uncomfortable for them. Good crowd in here, perfect conditions. We've got a good contest.
And there is this ongoing debate about the Italy senior team. What is it, 33 straight defeats in the Guinness Six Nations. but the junior side are becoming more and more competitive with each passing season. They beat the Scots last year. They ran both Ireland and France very, very close. England to 10 points in that final game last season. And here they are. It's early days. We're not yet through the opening quarter of the match, Dowie, but they do lead by 3 points to 0.
Well, they could have, should have beaten France down in Cardiff last year with the penalty they had. But again, this is what lets them down. It's this precision, playing for the full 80 minutes, letting teams back into the game. England make a mistake, but the big mistake was them not getting into touch. Oh, everything's going Italy's way. Apart from those precise kicks, I think this is saying it knocked on in contact when he just fell over his shoelace, his bootlace.
Yes, Francis Moore, the Saracen, making his debut at under-20 level.
So you could say he's released that ball, but he hasn't. It's gone forward. It's rolled an inch forward. Again, another correct decision from the referee. It doesn't bear true, really, does it, from what I've been seeing? But a 64 possession to England.
Well, we saw that in the Calcutta Cup last week. It was England with 2/3, 3/4 of possession and territory, but in the end, they lost the match.
It's what you do with the scraps, or what you do when you've got the ball.
So the put in from Garbisi. Solid scrum. Ferrari holding it. Look at that. They're trying to force the penalty here. They've got the penalty advantage. Now they can have a go.
Stand up. Under pressure.
That is the 7th penalty that England have conceded in the opening quarter. Now take that through. 28 penalties in a match. It's very, very difficult to win matches when you're conceding penalties at that rate.
Massimo, the Italian coach, will be looking at this, and that's the second, I believe, in 2 scrums now, so that's the 2nd scrum penalty, and that isn't good for England pack, who always pride themselves on being able to do that, have the power game. But it just shows you a motivated side, and this is what this Italian under-20s are. They're good. They're a good bunch. And as we talk about so many good guys going through the system for England, Ireland, France, whatever, the same thing has to happen for these guys. They've got to play in a good competition, but they've got to show themselves on this stage, and they're doing that this evening.
So Nicolo Taneggi, a very sweet striker of the rugby ball. Well, that's one that got away, just slipping by the right-hand upright.
Don't look at the forward's eyes, whatever you do, fly half. You may not like what you see, because that's a given. Sorry, but that's a given. 3. And that's, again, what Italy have to do. Every opportunity they have to take in this Six Nation. Alan Dickens saying that there is no easy game. There aren't easy games, because if you're off the speed a little bit, you know, you are going to get found out.
Well, I think Alfie Bell has taken a bump to the head, has he? Well, he's carrying on, I think. So it would appear he's been given a clean bill of health. Believe me, if there was any doubt about a bang to the head, he would be sent off for a head injury assessment. Ball gathered there by May, the fullback. Is Ferrari. Oh, that's high for a bell. Well, I think it was even higher than that, wasn't it? Long pass here out to Pani. Pani just trying to get round Moore.
Okay. Advantage for
Yes, the referee has received a word in the ear from Eric Gauzin. There he is again, the captain, Ferrari, and then hooking the ball round to his back row mate Odiese, but then the ball lost forward, but we'll come back for the penalty. It's quite a yomp across the pitch, back to the point.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious. He is going down and take his time to take it, but a 6'8" second row, 6'10" second row, whatever, he's always going to stretch his arms out. No malicious, not malicious at all in that. Drags him down. But because of the many concussions we've got and the work being done, it's deemed a high tackle.
Yes, no, it's not over because the holding on is good.
Well, Finn Baxter's learning all the tricks of the trade, isn't he?
He's not getting much change out of her, I tell you.
No.
Not at all. It was a penalty, that's all it was, no problem. They were playing advantage. And you can't talk your way out of that one.
No.
Well, now the Italians are asking for a yellow card.
High tackle, yes. Only Piqué, yeah.
I think the Italians might have stolen a couple of metres with the mark as well, but you can see there.
Every kick it does, Martin. Just put it down there as the ref turns it back a little. You move forward.
On
you move
the
the kicking tee forward if you're going for goal. But this is again a great opportunity. There you go. It's not. I mean, he's going down in the tackle. He's trying to put his shoulder into the England forward. And now the Italians will put the shoulder into this.
On there to Passarella. Passarella getting through one tackle. Look at the power. The Italians doing so well here. On to Odiese. The ball flung wide here to Ferrari, just going through the tacklers, I must say. This England defence at the moment looking rather suspect.
Use it!
The Englishman has to get out of there. There it is again for Garbisi.
Right, it's over. No trapping the player, no.
On from Garbisi again, and then it's dropped by Ottambina, but the referee said the ball went backwards. Elione feeds the ball out to Stewart. Stewart, the hooker. Right into the rather physical presence of Giacomo Ferrari, the Italy captain. Well, you have to say, England have been rather stunned here. Jones gets it away, but that will be an Italy line-out, just what, 5 or 6 metres or so outside the England 22.
Yeah, the Gloucester nine's not happy with that. He didn't get the height. Well, he didn't get the distance he wants, but this lad gets the yardage he wants. That's what you need. Your back row, so your centres, Passarelli going forward, give him a target for the forwards. That's the mistake. And unfortunately, you know, Italy are just being superb this evening. They just get that pace up. They're hitting everything that moves. The ruck speed is up. They're getting the support there, and then they do the nitty-gritty stuff as well.
Look at this. It's very well choreographed by the Italians. That's the England 22 you can see now. Well, England have got the turnover.
The ball isn't playable, it's the
Much to the disappointment of Luca Rizzoli.
Well, they worked that very well, England, because again they were under a slight bit of pressure. Italy had the initial push on, but again you get guys at the back there. He's off. Well, he's taking his. The weight is on his knees. You're not allowed to do that. Maybe the referee saw something I didn't. But I think England can count themselves lucky. There's a few cheers going up, cheers of relief, because there's one side going for it, and it's not in a white shirt.
Well, Alfie Bell has just been getting some treatment again. There is Giacomo Ferrari, plays his club rugby at Capitolina, which is down in Rome. Rather as the... look at that. 5 carries, he's made an average of 11 metres with each of those. That's impressive stuff.
Giacomo, take a bow, that's what you want. Big carries as well. But again, it's the guys in front of him, that front 5 have been doing all the hard work, winning penalties in the scrum, driving the line-outs. A couple of line-outs have gone wayward, but, you know, England have got to weather the storm. I'm quite happy, actually, just do 3-0. Beneni dropping a ball over the line from the kick pass. They could have been further behind, but not to be. But again, they're a good second-half side for the showed in Murrayfield, aren't they, England?
Yes, England trailed the Scots last year, or last week I should say, and then it's been put down by Grayson. So that certainly falls into the unforced error category.
They are trying to get something started. Ethan Grayson, son of Paul, obviously, but again, he was outstanding. Henry Arundel got all the sort of plaudits with his massive yardage and tremendous pace, but really that guy was the nuts and bolts of good things, good future. But again, he gets a bad ball from Toby Knight off the base. You heap pressure back on yourself. You don't exit well. There you go. England have to do better.
England are the most successful team in the history of this championship. They've won 56 of their 75 matches in the under-26 nations. So Garbisi with a put in.
Yes, the ball is out.
Well, that was well timed by Jones, but Italy have done rather well to get the ball away. Pani taking the ball into the contact. There's Garbisi again, driven forward by Andrioli. Montembina, the try scorer against France there, wearing the blue headgear. On that time to Belasi. Decent little step coming from Taneji, but then it's knocked on. Chance now for England to counter. This is where they were so dangerous last week against the Scots.
No.
The ball taken outside the 22, and that really hasn't got enough depth in it, but the referee has blown the whistle. And it's a knock-on from Italy.
Offside number 4, yeah.
Well,
So
now...
you have a knock-on here by blue. Scrum right.
Right.
We've got it in the end, yeah.
We did hear a cry of offside at one point, but she's well and truly in charge tonight.
As referee should be. But Taneshi is playing a super game outside half for Italy. He's calling all
Time
the
is off.
shots, out the back balls, just playing the ball at flat, controlling matters, bringing his forwards on. You see a little step in there, and that goes to hand. That guy's through. I'm not saying he would score a try,
okay?
Frangini, but again,
Can you
this
mind
guy's impressed as
their
well.
angle?
Yeah.
They're not driving straight, they're driving across.
Passarella. Again, just
Why,
that
it's on your
target.
side?
That's what
In
your
your
forwards
side?
need. Nothing too flashy.
Outside.
Okay.
I don't think the decisions the ref's making, Finn Baxter, are the problems with England at the moment.
Yes, Baxter's complaining about the technique being shown by the Italy front five. Baxter, who wasn't available to Alan Dickens last week because he was called back to Harlequins, came off the bench in that defeat at home to
You okay?
Sale last weekend.
Time on.
So we're almost up to the
Goodbye.
half hour.
Goodbye.
Just a single
No change
penalty
on bike.
coming from Nicolo Taneji, the Italy fly half.
Oh dear. Jordan Turner-Hall will not be happy with that. He was helping out on the defensive coaching for the England under-21s. Ex-Harlequin centre, good lad. But again, he prided himself on defence, and he will not like those stats at all. Hence, that's the pace that Italy are putting on the game and the angles they're running.
Set!
Oh!
Well, I think it's just
Not
possible
one.
here that Finn
On
Baxter
goal, number 1.
is starting to have a bit of an
Not
impact
straight.
on
No, it's fine. No,
the
it's fine.
referee.
One,
Luca
not
Rizzoli
straight.
has been penalised.
Well, the penalty's given for coming round the side and then driving in. Ferrari wanted a chat, but obviously there's some replacements that can happen, come off the bench if this continues. But you've got to say Italy have got the ascendancy there. That time deemed illegal, but again, it's not the platform that
line.
that lad
Blue
there,
on the
Jamie
line.
Benson, wants. Power.
England making half a dozen changes tonight, plus a positional switch. There's Benson. That was Litchfield, Grayson, the two Northampton players in the midfield. Bailey taking the ball into the contact. There's Benson again. England up to halfway, and Italy penalised this time.
That's what they just need to do, is keep hold of the ball, but protect
No,
that
place
ball
the
as
ball
well.
on the first time.
And that was given again. Italy have had some success at the breakdown, but you're not allowed to place your hands past the ball to take your weight. You've got to get on that ball. You've got to give England a chance to make sure it's secure. You're covering the space, basically. Good kick. Now England, you need to show something. That's the first time, well, not saying the first time, the people have been direct. Finn Baxter having a bit of a hard day in the scrum, but he can carry hard and carry well. Likens himself to Maka Vernopolo.
The concern within the Italy camp is, are they able to last 80 minutes at this tempo? The majority of these players for Italy plying their trade in the Italian top 10, unlike these Englishmen here who are on the fringes of Premiership rugby. That's well orchestrated by the men in white. Italy on defensive duty.
Stay back.
Jones looking for the ball, trying to get it off Bell, but Bell rather reluctant to pass it on.
Well, Jones had his chance there initially about 3 seconds ago. He wanted to go. Unfortunately, couldn't get that hand on the ball or get Bell's hands free. So they've got to go back into the trenches now.
Wardle that time with the carry. There it is again for England. Toby Knight, scorer of 2 tries last week. Was a little bit of an injury doubt here, but came through the warm-up. That was a little go from Lockett. Out here to Stewart, trying to take on the soft shoulder of the fly-half, or at least he was hoping it would be. Here's Litchfield. Man has been involved in 4 Premiership games for Northampton, but it was stolen and cleared by Passarella.
Again, great work, scramble in defence. Passarella has been a key man for them, carrying the ball, and that time just scraping back the pill. But England, I think, firstly got it right, putting a forward against the number 10. That time they didn't. Italy still under pressure, still in the wrong area, but again, they're scrapping this game.
There he is, Dowie. He's got the right name, hasn't he?
There's not many of us about.
Dowie Passarella.
I know.
He plays for the Ruggers Tarvisium Club, which is actually the second team here in Treviso, with Tarvisium.
You okay?
Is the old Roman name for Treviso.
Well, I think if he carries on playing that, he'll be in the first very quickly, because again, he's shown the way. These big lads up front need a way sometimes, and again, he's busted his line. He's
Time is on.
again got the ball back. He's put his body on the line in a sense, and good on him, and that's allowed Tenaci the 10 to play, because he's got an option not only with the forwards, he's got an option then with the backs.
5 called for the line out. It was Lockett rising high. Powerful carry by England. Chance here perhaps to create something this time. Bell it is, who just drops his shoulder and goes in. It's another penalty advantage conceded by the Italians.
Jones just wants to take the penalty. Go on, go, 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 go.
Jones is away quickly. Otambina having to make the tackle. It's there for Bell. Bell spinning and turning. There it is for Lockett. Lockett has a little go himself. It's now Stewart. He's got his eyes up. Another pick up and drive by England. Another penalty advantage here. So the pressure mounting on Italy. The ball was dropped, but the referee says it went backwards. It's a free hit to England. Out there to Litchfield. Oh, and once again England unable to make anything of it, but they will have the penalty.
Well, Italy is so offside, you've got to say they know exactly what England are trying to do. Hit it up at the 10 and pull it out the back.
It's the same message for the white.
Listen to the ref.
It's the same message. So you have too many penalties. Here, it's you have the on the field. So the on is offside. You have penalty here.
So it's cumulative penalties. Somebody possibly could go to the bin,
Offside.
take one for the team. It's what England want to do now, go the catch and drive. They're in this game hugely, even though the scoreline would suggest that Italy have had the majority of the possession, I would suggest. But I think the right thing is to put the pressure on now, force their hand, and if there is another penalty, possibly 2, they'll start the second half just with 14 men, so that advantage to England. He's not happy. Again, he's not getting the speed of the ball, and that's coming from Italy's defensive set. Slightly offside on occasion. That's why the penalties are ratcheting up. Now here we go.
So it's the Bath hooker. John Stewart goes short and it's poached. Tap back by Otambina.
Yes. Scrum 5.
But it was taken back over the try line, so they couldn't really afford to do that.
Trying to be cute. England
it's
with
clear,
no
it's
jumper
blue.
going up.
Scrum on 5.
Italian second row has seen that, but again, by putting that back down there, it's gone. It is his. Ooh, was it? Was it an England hand? It doesn't make. Again, the referee's made that decision to put into England, but we knew what happened on the last scrum. Big Italian push, but it was illegal. So this is now a time to bite down on the strap, deliver the ball, and give Benson a chance.
No. You have full engagement, keep the space.
Never a
and
bad
keep your
time, of course, to
breakfast.
score a try, but
No.
I often say just before half-time, that could really change the complexion of the contest. 3.5 minutes to go, less than now.
Well, it could dent Italy's pride, couldn't it? They've done so hard, so much, so well. And to go in losing this half, and you've got to say dominated for large periods.
Crouch!
Passions are running deep, tensions high, and if there was a little bit of rather colourful language coming into your living room, we apologise. There's Ilioni. He's taken it quickly, but he's been held up. There it is still for England. That Italian line under siege. Well, the Italian crowd have seen something they didn't like. There you can see Finn Baxter just doing a bit of directing of traffic, and particularly the opposition defence. Stewart's got his hands on the ball. The last 2.5 minutes of the half. We're still waiting for our first try. Italians have to get back. Look at them, rather like sprinters in the starting blocks.
Okay, we have no.
Let's listen in to the referee here.
T'as le numéro, Eric, sur leur jeu? Offside.
How many more?
It's communicating again with a toucher. There's a good partnership going on here. The Leicester Tiger takes that penalty.
And after?
It's offside. There's nothing going on there. The Italian props holding
line,
those guys back.
Did you hear Finn Baxter say how many more? He's looking for the yellow. Getting forced back. It's not just 15 men in blue, but 2,500 Italians watching the match here. Head down that time from Mikey Summerfield. One more drive back. Bell being held up. Look at the effort here from this Italian defence. Now they're holding it up. They're looking to get the put in. The Italians get it, and they celebrate it like they've scored a try.
And silly enough, that could be even better than scoring a try for Italy. Look at them. They're all over each other. Again, Bell took that ball, and you think the momentum was going up. They had 2 or 3 faces. The pace was being put on the ball. People were coming around the corner, and he's just too high. Held up by the puckish figure of the fly half. Smallest guy on the field, and everyone gets involved. That guy, Passarelli's in. All the forwards come in, hold it up, and if you hold that guy in, you get the put into the scrum, and that's what it means to these guys. Tremendous defence. Brilliant defence.
All the time.
Where Italy are concerned, it's the first 40, which has been the antithesis of the one we saw at Mont de Marsan. 3 tries conceded in the opening half hour. They did get one right on the stroke of half-time, but they were trailing 22-0 early on, and though they competed well for the last hour or so of the match.
Interesting, yeah. I think this will just be in and out and try and waste as much time, get the clock into red. But Benson and Jones, the 2 fly halves, are having, it's the first time they play together. They're having a mother's meeting out there. Well, that will come into fruition, I'm sure, in the second half, saying, look, you've just got to give me more pace and more pace on the pass and some more space.
Finn Baxter up against Riccardo Genovese over on this side of the front row. It's another good, solid Italian scrum, and look at that, they're forcing the penalty.
Well, you don't see that very often, do you? These Italian boys at front have been eating their pasta, are doing the right thing. They have gone one way. And I think that's the 3rd penalty now. Look at Ferrari, the captain, on cue. This is in red. This will go off.
Play the ball before. Just play the ball.
The ball will go off. They'll go into the dugouts, and I think that's a very good half for Italy. Fantastic half.
Well, it's 40 minutes in which the scoreline doesn't really reflect the entertainment value. Italy, well, you'd have to say they are full value for the half-time lead. It's in Treviso at halfway. Italy 3, England 0.
Tak. Ouais, j'ai vu. Non, tu... Ouais, j'ai vu. Non. Ouais, j'ai vu. No try, no con. Advantage. Stand up. Right. Use it. Stand up. Under pressure. (22).
Bravo, Matteo!
Knock on advantage. Use it. Advantage, it's a ruck. Advantage. Place the ball in the ruck. It's a ruck, you place the ball. Yes. Yes.
Theo Bull, Thomas, Dormer and Hobson. Could they come on? Could they come on
1 minute and 40 seconds. Yeah. $50 seconds. 50 seconds.
Well, England nilled in the first 40. It's only 3-0. But Italy deserving of that lead. They are undoubtedly going to be tested physically. And also, in terms of their engines, they would have had little experience in playing matches with this sort of intensity. So we're away in the second 40. Ball there going to one of the outstanding players in the first 40, the Italy captain Giacomo Ferrari. Well, Dowie, if you'd have been in the Italy dressing room in the first 40, what would have been your instructions for the second?
The Italy just exactly the same. Keep the line speed up, try and not give as many penalties away, and just carry on. You know, commit to those to the next 40 minutes, because they're well in this game. They're powering England in the scrums. They're making mistakes, but they're making mistakes possibly on things that are really causing England problems. So I would give credit to them and just say exactly the same. England, on the other hand, just have to up it. They have to get some territory, possession, and all of the above, and start to sort the scrum out, because they've just been smashed in the scrum.
The ball was cleared there by the young fullback, Carlo May, one of the Italy players who has another year in the age group. On there to Grayson, the long pass just tipped on. Taken forward by Francis Moore, the Saracen.
That's it straight away. I think Alan Dickens has made his feelings felt in the dressing room. What they're going to do is get the big fellas up and don't make any mistakes. And that's exactly what they do again.
Well, Italy have demonstrated tonight that they can play with precision and width when necessary. Forcing England into mistakes. Quick pass there from the fly half. Daneggi, who impressed as well in that first 40. It's an advantage being played here to Italy. Passarella there with the kick, but it was charged down. We come back for the penalty.
And that's about his first mistake, but again, it was a play to nothing. They were a free play. It's charged down.
Thank you.
For the prop, the captain, I think Finn Baxter again. England were doing some good patterns and some good phases. Like I said, putting the backer up the middle, quick ball then to the scrum half. Jones hitting the likes of Grayson, but one little mistake and all of a sudden these guys in blue get the ball and they start hoofing it down the park. And we know what their strength is. They're really up for the fight tonight.
Finn Baxter, the England captain, had a lot to say to the referee in that first 40, but got to be careful. You have to establish a relationship with the referee, but you don't want to get on the wrong side of them. There has to be a bit of the bedside manner about that relationship as well. So here is Frangini, the hooker. Well taken by Balesi. There goes Ferrari again. Making an average of 11 metres a carry in the first half. Look at the commitment that time from Autumn Bina. Here is again the open side, Balesi just on the edge of the England 22. Another decent carry. That time Elioni was trying to turnover, but he was well cleared out by the Italians. Look at Garbisi there pleading with the referee. Here's Garbisi again.
Advantage! Keep the leg!
Another penalty advantage being played here,
No.
so it's another free one.
Shift
Coming
the
in from the
leg.
left wing, there was Lazarin, there is Lazarin. Just getting under the tackle.
No advantage. No.
They started with the left off, isn't it? Speed, they're absorbing. When they take the ball in, they do so well,
Number
Italy, by
4.
absorbing that first tackle. Don't go too far. Then
Take
actually
the
then
leg.
drive their legs
Yeah.
another yard or
Yes.
two to give the clear-out guys a chance to get with them. Again, he's going to go for 3 points. You can see they're just picking up the legs. That's okay as long as he doesn't go down on his head. But he missed a sitter almost. Well, how was they exactly? But I think the last
When
one
we
he
get
missed
quick
was
balls.
straighter on.
Yeah.
In front of the post, but again, really, he has to reward his forwards and his ball carriers now with
No, for me,
another 3 to
it's
make it
clearly a
6-0.
work, so it's not possible to continue to play the ball.
But when I'm trying to get like,
Yeah.
So Nicolo Toneggi,
Yeah.
and
1 out of 2
Oh,
so
okay.
far,
No,
plays
no
his club
Yeah.
rugby for Villa Rugby. Emilia, another of those feeder clubs in the top 10 league. Into the second half, can Toneggi double the Italian advantage? That was a much purer strike. England making alterations,
Time off,
stripped
10.
off and ready to go is
Substitution.
Charlie
Number
Rice.
4.
The Bristol second row. And also I think there's a change about to be made at fly half. Jamie
number
Benson
4.
hasn't really had a chance to get into the game yet.
So,
Well,
Sorry.
Alan Dickens not messing about. He's made his replacements just 5 minutes into the second half. Not happy, and that gives
yeah.
well, a lift
Time on.
for the rest of the team, or a kick up the backside, whatever way you want to think about it.
So Alpi Bella took a couple of heavy knocks in that first half. He's replaced. That change, which looked like being made at fly half for England, has yet to come.
Yeah, there's a lot of the bench are getting themselves warmed up here. It's gone a bit cold. I think it's not given a frost, but it's given them to the sort of low degrees, 3-4 degrees or so. But the England bench are on their walks or run round the park, because I think they might be needed at a minute.
And there from Matty Jones. Grayson driving forward, who hasn't been really given the space today. Ilioni with a
Advantage
powerful
offside.
carry, getting through one tackle, taking play up to the Italy 22. This is a little bit better from England. There goes Stewart, the hooker. That Italian player has to get out of the way. Oh, and Grayson
We have
just letting
advantage
it
now,
slip.
No advantage. Offside.
The referee was playing an advantage. The Italians had come offside, and once again Matty Jones taking it quickly. Charlie Rice getting forced back, the replacement. He presents it to Jones. There goes Litchfield, the powerful Northampton centre. Jones, that's Wardle. Much, much better from England. Grayson there, and that's Ilioni again, just cunning in field. But look at the tackle. The dominant, powerful tackles coming in from the Italians. There's Stewart. At the moment, the Italians absorbing every blow.
The one thing England are doing, though, they're keeping the ball. They're just retaining the ball, going through the phases, presenting that ball to Jones, the scrum half, so things can happen.
There's Jones again. Now there's a bit of space for England for perhaps the first time tonight. Desperate defence coming in, and just for a moment, Moore looked like he might have got through, but the penalty goes to the Italians. And every time they get a turnover, every time they get a scrum penalty, they celebrate it like they've won the lottery.
I think that's about the first
No,
line
so-
break. I
Liam.
think they made 9 last week. up in Scotland. And again, it's the referee. She's been on it straight away. Unless you're there protecting that ball, getting that ball back. That's those big hits you're talking about, Martin. Bailey trundled back, but he did well to retain the ball. Went out then to his opposite wing more. And again, makes the break, and you think it's all on. Possible try, possible pass out of contact, and then a great tackle. No support, penalty.
Well, talking about the development of Italian rugby at this level, bear in mind, Tommaso Menoncello, you were there in Paris last weekend, broke all sorts of records, scoring that opening try on his debut against France at the Stade de France. Menoncello was playing in this fixture last season.
But to hype back, it has to be Italy's future. They have to invest in making Benetton, which they're doing, and I know for a fact a sort of super team, but they have to experience week in, week out 80 minutes of intense rugby. Whether they do that, but they're just going to have to do it. But again, for these young lads, it's a great opportunity to be put together, to be hone their skills, get the best coaches, and try and see if they develop.
Well, two former Italy national team coaches sitting not too far away in conversation. Franco Smith, who now runs the entire development project with Italian rugby, and Conor O'Shea, who I guess is his shadow now at the Rugby Football Union at Twickenham, having been Italy's national coach at the last World Cup.
No.
Right, this is what you want to see from your players now. Alan Dickens want to see a reaction from England. Half an hour to go. Is that any worse than the Italian forwards did England to give those two penalties away? Probably not, but a kick tennis. Pane just putting the ball in and just calming matters down.
Stewart fired down by Lockett. Flat pass. Look at the tackle coming in there from Odiese. As Grayson pops it up to Litchfield, the two Northampton Saints. 3 or 4 metres inside the Italy half. Benson just gets through. Eventually, the Azzurri Blue knock him down. There's Lockett onto Grayson, the short ball. There's a powerful carry coming from Toby Knight, who scored 2 tries last week up at Edinburgh. Litchfield, who's a very solid customer. Eventually, they get him down. There is another penalty advantage being played against the Italians. Grayson just trying to work his way through there. Referee says there's another advantage being played there. But England failing to make much progress at the moment. That was more just threading it through. That's one for Bailey to get after.
No advantage.
And there was a bit of a test there for Pani coming across.
Or not,
but he was equal to it, but we'll come back all the way over to the other side for the penalty, and Finn Baxter's in the referee's ear again.
Where's this one?
That's fine. Again, they do play a long period of advantage time, but England doing well. I've got to say, Litchfield twice carrying the ball on the right-hand side, one on the left-hand side. Exactly what Passarella has done for Italy in that first half. That time, there no options. Pane, the other wing, coming across to secure the ball. Now, what are England going to do? There's plenty of time, but every time in that first half, they've turned the points down and they've gone into the corner, thinking they will trundle.
Well, it's a very different England side to the one we saw last June and July, who won the Grand Slam, picked up the maximum 28 points. Every try bonus point that was going, plus the additional 3 for completing the Grand Slam. So comparisons really are a little naive, but such is the depth of quality in English rugby that winning the title year in, year out,
so 10 is
certainly not taken for granted, but anything short of that pretty much represents failure.
Alberto.
They got themselves out of a little bit of a tight spot last week in Edinburgh. This, I would suggest,
possible to have a water boy
is a more significant one. Here he is, Jamie Benson.
This is respect for Italy. They've tried to go into the corner. They've tried the catch and drive. It hasn't worked. We've got to get some points on the board. Still massively in this game. Plenty of time to do things, to score tries, but they just want to get to nudge 3 points just to make that distance 3 points.
Well, he was knocking him over for fun last week, and he's hit the upright this time, but then it's put down by Taneji, and that's costly.
Well, I think you can lip read. I think it's
Strong right.
again, doesn't quite strike it right. Obviously it hits the post, but again, the result is okay for England. They got the put in. Passarella again just retaining that ball. He doesn't. He should actually be looking at the post. If it comes off the post,
Time is up.
you can actually just catch it. He's turned towards England. It's very difficult to catch that ball, and this is an amazing opportunity if England's scrum can go. And saying that, big fella comes on, Hobson.
Time on.
So it's the Harlequin replacing the London Irishman. Will Hobson coming on for Mikey Summerfield. Hobson was actually the loose head replacement last week.
Crouch!
There you can see straight into the scrum. Will Hobson
Set!
up against Luca Rizzoli.
It's not stable. Please play it back on.
It's good from
So
Italy.
it's not stable.
They're just loving the fight, aren't they? They're loving the
Improve
niggle.
your
They're doing
position,
everything
please.
in there.
Let's go.
They've had the ascendancy in this area. In the first half, they want to keep it on. They want to make it as uncomfortable as possible for England to launch anything. You can see Hendy hasn't had much ball on this right-hand side. They've stacked it left. Bailey's further on Hendy's right-hand side, so options open.
Crouch!
But the big job first, get the ball in and get the ball out.
Just 6 minutes short of the hour, reaching the end of the third quarter of the match. There it is for Matty Jones. Benson waits for it. Grayson alongside him. They miss him out and go to Litchfield, but he's easily picked off. There's Ilioni. On there from Jones again. Another powerful carry. That coming that time from Toby Knight. But the ball is lost forward. And Italy breathe again, and right in the thick of things once more, the Italian captain.
Yeah, you move.
And we've all played in games before. Yeah, you should win this by bonus point. You should do this to the opposition. And all of a sudden, you just feel something's not going right. A couple of fumbles there from Jones in this game. The ball was laid back brilliantly. A little bit anxious for the option. Should I go left? Should I go back against the flow? It's just playing into Italy's hands, isn't it? Again, that ball bouncing off the poles for the penalty.
Time is off.
This would shake the under-20s championship up, wouldn't it? Very much. And see, this ball is
Time
good.
is on.
Big carry from the captain, that's fine. And then it's just the leg, isn't it? One of the big bean poles gets his leg in there. Jones will get the blame for that, but unfortunately it was a big second row's leg that gets on the ball and he can't release it.
Well, it doesn't just shake up the under-26 nations, it shakes up the perception of Italy as a rugby-playing nation. All that speculation about the future of Italy
Left on the mark.
in rugby's greatest championship at senior level. But you've only got to look at the England side that performed the Grand Slam just, 8 months or so ago. The likes of Orlando Bailey, Rafi Quirk, who made his full England debut in the autumn. Finn Smith, who is starting these days for Worcester in the Premiership. Jack van Portfleet doing the same at scrum half for Leicester. Jack Clement in the back row for Gloucester. Ewan Richards doing the same for Bath. It's a very swift transition to full international level. And look at that scrummage. Utterly destroyed England.
Rizzoli, Frangini, Genovese, they are doing an amazing job. Plus another 5 forwards, obviously. But that, again, it's sapping England's strength. It's just raising Italy above the levels they expected. And that lad is applauding the crowd. He knows he's got England on toast at the moment. No place to go. Normally, the scrum is such a safe area for England to go to. They don't want one. They're getting penalty after penalty, losing yards. Now, can Italy, with what, we're coming nearly into the last quarter, close this game off? Like you said, the crowd will absolutely erupt. A long way to go, I know, but they've been brilliant tonight to frustrate England. But the only question I would ask you, Mark, and again, it's something I bang on about all the time, fitness. Can they keep this up? And just as you think, they lose a line out. So that's the question mark. The biggest 20 minutes of these group of lads' playing careers so far, the ones in blue, probably the ones in white as well.
Use it!
Well, the Italian line-out has been something of an Achilles heel so far this evening. Oh, and there goes Grayson, getting through 2 tackles. Perhaps just a second real line break coming there from that Italian defence. Out there from George Hendy, the fullback. It's there for Matty Jones. Just a little bit of encouragement now for England. There goes Toby Knight, taking play up to the 22. Jones, Grayson again. Benson, the long pass, but the long pass just finding fresh air. Gathered up there by Diego Bailey. They still have possession, do the men in white. Ilioni at speed, makes a few metres. It's there again for England. Benson, Grayson. There are white jerseys out wide. And that really sums up the evening so far for England. Francis Moore sensed there was daylight, sensed there was a man outside, and he just grabbed it a bit too quickly.
Well, they're putting everything on gamble tonight, the rush defence.
Yeah, I know.
Italy are just throwing themselves off this defensive line, trying to squeeze the life and the space out of England in the midfield. Every time England look up, there's a blue shirt coming at them, and they can't control the passes going wide. Italy now making subs. Baxter asking the referee to clarify certain things, but again, it's just frustrating England. Well done, Italy. You're causing massive problems. Here we go. Line after line. You can see there Grayson. And he doesn't get his pace from his father. I can assure his dad wasn't that fast. But again, he's the one just trying to straighten things up. He can see there's no space on the outside. Italy are closing England down all the time.
Well, there is confirmation of that change, which has been made in Italy's back row. Carlo Bellesi of the local club, Uragos Tarvisiem, the second team here in Treviso. He's been replaced by Giovanni Cenodesi.
Set!
The put in there from Garbisi.
Use the ball!
Ferrari being told to use it.
20, stop!
Garbisi with the clearance there. Finds a little bit of space. Back goes George Hendy. Hendy considers the options. He's got support on his left. He's a very dangerous runner, is the Northampton fullback. Gets within 3 or 4 metres of halfway. Here's Stewart, the hooker, powering his way. Now, I wonder, is that Italian pack just beginning to tire a little? There is just a sense, maybe, just maybe, the balance of power just shifting a little bit in the match, but the scoreboard, it's all Italian at the moment. England without a point to show, and we are within seconds of the 1 hour mark. Jones knocks it end over end, but he only finds May. May feeds the ball back. There's the clearance. Garbisi comes away with a bit of a limp.
Move!
Benson pumps it up high. Here's Garbisi again. He flings it wide. On there to Taneggi. Taneggi again finds support out wide. Along to Fazzari, and now here's Pani, and Pani is upending an important tackle there from Hendy. Garbisi, driven forward by Andrioli. There again for Italy. Listen to the crowd here in Treviso. It's been a long, long time since they've been able to cheer an Italian victory in the senior, the Guinness Six Nations. Back at go, that was, it's 9 years ago that the men, the senior men that is, won in Rome. And now up here in rugby's heartland in Treviso, just what, 40 minutes or so from Venice, right in the top right-hand corner of the country. Maybe, just maybe, the Azzurri Blue within 19 minutes of what would be a famous victory.
Looks like the Bailey not rolling out the way on Ethan Grayson. Just, wow, into the corner they go. They are putting everything on risk and reward tonight, and it's coming off. This was the kick. It was, again, tremendously taken. They see the space. I've got to say, Tenesi has been outstanding at outside half.
Yes.
Fuzari making the break. This guy, Pani's always looking for work, and then they just swipe it back from the right-hand side to the left. The result was a scrambling defence from England, and Italy taking advantage of that penalty and pumping it down. What, they're 10 metres out now.
England changing both of their halfbacks. Off go Maddie Jones, off goes Jamie Benson, on comes Sam Edwards. The Leicester Tiger making his debut at this level. Also on is Louis Johnson, the Newcastle Falcon, the youngster, who's got another year in the age group. Started last week against Scotland. The catch there from Odiesa, and it's a penalty advantage. England sticking their hands on an Italian arm in the line out. And you can see there Lapo Frangini has the ball there, driving it forward, starting to head in the right direction. Emeka Elioni trying to disrupt. He's now going to retire to the back.
Number one.
Well, it's a big call, this.
Do
you take the points? Do you set up an advantage which is more than a converted try?
He took the points. He's taken them before. 3-6-9. It's way above then a converted try for England. They frustrated England so far so much. They haven't really shown any of their hand. England, they haven't been allowed to. England didn't jump on that occasion. If they had, they possibly could get it. But again, a drill's a drill. That's the defensive drill called.
Thank you.
And the result, I think it was Baxter who's again been talking to the referee, got involved in something. Penalty was there on a free play. They've gone for another 3.
Yeah.
And I agree totally. I think this is the correct decision as long as this guy gets it over.
But there's no doubt this is the biggest kick of the night so far. 17 minutes remain. If this is successful, even a converted try from England would see them trailing. Oh, it's off the upright. Well, it happened to Jamie Benson. It's now happened there to Nicolo Teneggi. How expensive might that prove to be? Litchfield just gives England a little bit more breathing space. Here's Sam Edwards, the Tiger. Well, that hasn't found touch. Chance maybe for the Italians to counter. There's the captain, Ferrari. They're very happy to go wide. 2 grabs taken by Fuzari. Gardisi. Look at that from Rizzoli. He's still full of running the loose head. Gardisi. Teneggi. Oh, that's a loose pass. That could prove dangerous. The mopping up done by Passarella. But Italy find themselves 15 metres inside their own half. Little more than 15 minutes to go. That finish line for Italy still a long way in the distance. Well, Ferrari goes hacking the ball through. It's then lost forward, so it's a knock-on advantage to England.
No advantage, knock-on.
It's just one of those nights, isn't it? You think England have got a ball back that they shouldn't have. All of a sudden, they've gone down and then it's gone forward again. Finn Baxter takes a minute. You think it's there, and unfortunately for Rice it wasn't. It's gone forward. Ferrari again, he's just been an absolute, excuse my friend, sports car and engine. Going forward, being defensive line, encouraging his troops, everything. He's the real deal, full package.
Yes, time is off.
England just can't get things going. They get one good facet of play, and then all of a sudden mistakes happen. And I asked, you know, what will make it Italy better, playing for 80 minutes with concentration, making very few mistakes. And as soon as I said that, you know, Teneggi makes a bad passing error. but his mates get him out of the mire. You know, they get back for him, they get over the ball, they turn the ball back over.
I don't know, Eric, le temps dans
fantastic team performance.
Finn Baxter just getting his shoulder in the wrong place that time. So the Italians preparing to make another change. It's Matteo Rubinato, who is part of the Benetton club, so this is home turf for him. There he is, waiting to come on. He's going to replace one of the Italian locks. The captain's back in one piece. And to think, this time last week he was playing in the English Premiership for Harlequins.
Just on left, his ear is fine for me, yeah.
Not too many of these Italians at the moment play at that sort of level. That man there, Alessandro Garbisi, has made half a dozen appearances for Benetton this season. But most of these players play in the semi-professional top 10 league.
Bind! Set!
There's the put in from Garbisi. Ferrari controlling things at number 8. He picks it up, back to Garbisi, on from Teneggi. Oh, that looks to be a miscue. It's a horrible miscue. May raises his arm, acknowledges the error.
So they're just, mistakes now are just creeping into Italians' play as the pressure getting to them. Just over 15 or so to go, or under 15 I should say. And really that's a simple kick. You know, you've got to find the grass. You don't got to be too cute. Really that could have come off the box, because again you get so much security with that Italian scrum. They opted to go wide, the old wiper ball in a sense, but again out on the full, England breathe again.
It's gone to Lockett, two-handed take. Here's Stewart. Grayson. Long pass out there from the replacement fly-half Johnson. It's gone into the Italian 22, and that's, well, a little bit frantic, the clearance. Decent attacking position for England.
Nerves are getting to them now, you can tell. But England are telegraphing really what they're doing in the back line. They're not taking it up to the line, they're just dragging the ball back behind all the time. It's so easy to defend. Italy just sort of drift across the field. Situation then, they have no other option than just to pump that ball through. Good grubber kick, force the error, and that's exactly what England have done. So they're still in the ascendancy.
A Wasp comes on for a Tiger. Greg Fisilau, the Wasp, replaces Emeka Elioni.
Who is the captain?
Well, it's a bold decision being made here by Italy. Giacomo Ferrari has been an inspirational figure for Italy, but on comes Matteo Rubinato. So their new captain will be Alessandro Ottambina.
No.
High scorer against France last week.
That's a big call, I think, with 13 to go, unless he's literally blown a gasket or something, because he has been an outstanding figure.
England goes short. There's Stewart being held up by Frangini. Edwards has his hands on it. There too, Johnson. Litchfield. So powerful in the midfield. Grayson just threads it through. This is a tester. May is equal to it. Now, look at the white jersey swarming. There's a little bit of panic there from Italy, but that was well gathered by Fazzari, who has done remarkably well from that position. And here's the experience of Garbisi. Back to Teneggi. And Teneggi hoofs it into touch. Chance to take a few deep breaths, but there will be another line out for England just outside the 22.
Yeah, and England start again, and Italy just scrambling back, aren't they? They're trying everything to to gift that ball to England. One big tackle, the ball gets dislodged, but they're getting away with it at the moment. One thing I have seen as we reach nearly that 10-minute mark for the end of the game is the Italian forwards are walking now. They're walking to set pieces. They're trying to, again, take the clock down, but these guys now should see that, the England forwards, and really go through the throat.
Well, that wasn't passed back that well from Lockett. Fed on there by Pissilao. Edwards in position. That's Johnson. Litchfield bursts through a tackle. He scored late on against Scotland last week. Can he produce the try here, which might just save England? But the Italians claiming there was a knock on there. It's an interesting call from the assistant referee.
It's come forward from an England hand. He didn't try to go for the ball. Again, it's difficult to see at that speed, but the result is an Italian throw-in, and you can see the Italian forwards now
Time is off.
having their own meeting. There's a problem with some English guys just come on.
Greg Pissilao has taken a knock.
Eric, je le vois avec le coude en haut, c'est pour ça.
Comes from Rice's hand. But it goes out, it goes out with England's. They're pleading for a hand, and with the ascendancy in the scrum, we may fancy that better than the line-out, to be honest. But England just toe poking it into the sort of dugout.
Wow, what a huge few minutes this is for Massimo Brunello, the coach, who himself played for Italy back in the days when they weren't a Six Nations side in the 80s and the 90s. Played almost 300 matches for Rovigo.
A potential full play.
I know you love your stats, and you've probably got this one. I'm going to nick it anyway. But if England have won their last 13 games against Italy in under-20s with an average margin of 32 points. Review. So that's why they'll have a few Morettis tonight, and other obviously lagers, if they do win and get over the line. Like I said, plenty of time. 10 minutes, big 10 minutes. Italy are puffing out there, but again, England making the mistakes. She's had a fantastic game, referee.
Well, there's something she's being shown now. She's run all the way to the far end to look at the big screen. Now, what is it we're looking at here? Tell me what you make of this, Dowie.
It's the forearm to the throat, I think, of
okay, I think this is the best angle already.
I think it's Litchfield, is it, making the break?
Do you have the other angle from the...
Well, it's Tom Litchfield.
Yes, because for me...
Let me give you this angle.
This is the angle we'll see. He's making the break. He's trying to absorb the tacklers coming in. Second row open side. Odessi's on his knees at one point.
I think I show you the best angle.
For me, it's
yes, he has made contact with his elbow to the throat, but has he desperately meant that? No, he hasn't, because it happens in a split second.
The chest and moves the arm in the second time.
We're listening.
Indeed, he started with a push off, but then he moved his forearm up.
Yeah.
Okay.
We get a sense that Eric Gozan is perhaps trying to lead the referee into making a decision.
So I think that there is full play in the end, because he's pushing on the throat of the blue player. Start legally.
If you want to look at it one way, you could. If you want to look at it another, you could. He's going through. He's been hit by two big fellas there.
Which is a
He's trying to get the guy off. Has he deliberately gone for his shit? No, he hasn't. He's just protected himself. I think she knows this.
It's on. Okay, I understand. Okay.
Okay. Let's show this angle again.
Can you review? Yes.
I think it's part and parcel of the rough, of the rough and tumble. You can see in her expression, she just wasn't wanting to make a decision here. He's gone in. He's gone in. Odessi, the blindside flanker, has gone in.
Start legally.
Yes.
He's saying it starts legally and it doesn't end, but I don't know what on earth Litchfield can do with that elbow.
Yeah, so we have a full play in the second time. So for me, it's a low degree of danger. It's only penalty kick. Anyone disagree?
Well, it's certainly going to be a penalty to Italy.
Okay, Eric?
Okay, avec décide.
Only Piqué?
For me, yes.
Yeah.
But if I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Well, it's just possible
Just-
that Eric
It's
goes on at
only
one
Piqué
point was
because
perhaps
in the
pushing
first
for
time
more,
it's
but I
legal,
think they've
and the
settled with
second
the
time
penalty.
you move the arm here and here. So it's low degree of danger. It's only Piqué against you. For yeah. No, it's
13 white, 13 white.
no. In continue use the movement. Yeah.
13 white.
Well,
C'est où Eric sur les 22 hein?
Oui,
you start okay, then you end. You're not okay. But again, it's in a.
Piqué for you.
You're carrying a ball. Piqué's penalty, so it's just a penalty to Italy to relieve the pressure. But
So Nicolo Taneggi will not be taking any gambles with this.
Yeah.
England making
Time off.
an
11.
alteration. Ollie Dawkins,
11.
who started last week,
Yeah.
is coming on, and he will
11,
replace
yes, the time
Francis
is off.
Moore. So it is a like-for-like switch. Ollie Dawkins, the Wasp, replaces the Saracen.
Time on.
here we go. 10 minutes on the roulette wheel. There's your money.
Well, England have yet to trouble the scoreboard, but a converted try, as things stand, could well win the match. There's the new captain, Ortambina. Frangini, who wasn't involved in France last week.
No.
Jenna Daisy helping drive things. That's the man with 20 on his back. Look at this from Italy. That is as good and as powerful as anything we've seen all night. They forced the penalty and they're still going forward. There it is for Garbisi. The referee still playing a penalty advantage. Italy will be happy with that. If nothing else, it runs down the clock just that little bit more. That was Fazzari. Garbisi on from Taneggi, and then the ball spilt. But it doesn't matter as far as Italy are concerned. England guilty of coming in from the side.
Number 1.
Garzella, the referee, true to form, plays the advantage. Again, free play time. It's like someone watching the old senior Italian packs going back 20 years. Sticking that ball up the jumper and going for it. That was well controlled, well directed. Again, like you said, Martin, it eats into the clock. Pumps that ball to Taneggi, pumps that ball down the corner. They'll walk to this line out. That is for sure. They will take the clock down. Still plenty of time to go.
Yep. Blue on the line.
But I don't think the Italian backs are going to be seeing this ball for a bit, because their forwards want this and they want more of this.
Well, that finish line just starting to appear in the dark distance. It's a little more than 8 minutes away. It would be a famous night for Italian rugby. And let's be frank, they haven't had too much to cheer so far this millennium. There's Garbisi. They are desperate for another score, or Italy. At the moment, it is the narrowest of margins. Taneggi floats it over the top, and that was so dangerous. England have it. The kick ahead coming from Sam Edwards. Back scramble Italy.
Inside. Stay.
The clearance goes in field. The bounce of the ball eludes George Hendy. Now Italy must chase, but some of those men there wearing the Azzurri blue feel as if they're treading through treacle. They have it now, though, to Italy. Chance maybe to counter. A miscue from Pani. It's Litchfield who grabs it. The tackle that time from Lazarin, so important. Here goes Johnson, the youngster. Important intervention there from Chenadesi. Wardell loses it, but the ball's gone backwards. Powerful carry forward there from Will Hobson. Edwards tries to find a way through. There's the offload to Fisilar. And Italy have the penalty. What a turnover that time from Riccardo Genovese.
And the crowd are going mad. Nothing they can believe what they're seeing. This young bunch of Italian lads are taking England to the wire. Everything England try. The offloads, the little passes aren't going this time. Fisilar just holds on to that ball a fraction, and again the referee, true to form, if you give yourself an extra half a second, you're going to get pinged, and you can't do that. Just relieves the pressure.
Yeah.
Bodies everywhere.
We have a blue 12 is injured, so we have a substitution by blue.
Well, England are preparing to bring their captain off.
Substitution, 2 and...
Finn Baxter being called to one side. He'll be replaced by Mark Dormer of Newcastle.
Substitution, you.
Also coming on, Finn Theobald Thomas of Worcester. He will replace the Bath hooker John Stewart.
Thank you. Thank you, Alberto. It's good for the player.
Toby Knight will assume the leadership role, which is what he had up at Edinburgh this time last week.
You have the time here? Is that the correct time? Yeah, it's correct time, yes. Alberto, do you have the blue player?
We don't need big score lines to have dramatic rugby matches.
No tries, the best 6-0 I've seen for some considerable time.
14.
You know, we've got everything, total desire, good scrums, line out, breaks.
Let's go, yes. 12, sorry, it's 12.
Everything bar tries, but like you said, if it's played at this pace, you don't need him. He's done well. Is it Fazzari? I think that partnership, centre partner, Passarelli and Fazzari have been good.
12 is off.
Well, wearing 26, waiting to come on is Paul Marie Foroncelli. He plays his club rugby just down the road in Venice for Rangers Vicenza.
We wait for the substitution. Your number 12 is injured, so we wait.
So Arturo Fazzari leaves us. Also coming on is Giovanni Sante of Mogliano. So that is that alteration with Sante of Mogliano coming on for Fazzari, the policeman from Rome. Tunney. Oh, he bit off rather a lot there, didn't he?
Good kick.
Yeah.
And he kept it into the stands as well, so England couldn't just catch it on the touchline and throw a quick one in, because that's what they want to do. They'll walk to it now.
Yeah.
Even though it would have been, an Italian throw-in. I'm getting ahead of myself now. But again, they'll walk to this one, they'll get it right, they'll catch and drive, they won't do anything fancy. Limit England's chances of a turnover.
That clock ticking over in slow motion. And Frangini gets just a little bit wobbly there with the throw-in.
Scrum or line-ups? Scrum.
Well, again, he knows to just look at the hooker.
You are captain, yeah.
England deciding to go for a scrum, which has...
Well, we're getting within 5 minutes, and you have to resolve who your man of the match is with, on this occasion, the match hanging in the balance. I would suggest it's poised to be an Italian at the moment, but who knows?
Set!
Whoever he is, he may yet end up being on the losing side. There it is for Edwards. On to Johnson. Litchfield. He's held up. It's a double tackle from the Italians in the thick of things there. Passarella. Taken forward by Fisilar. They're still in their own half for England. The clock says we're inside the last 5 minutes. That was Ollie Dawkins. Here's Edwards. The floated pass. Vissila again takes play inside the Italy half. The tackle's not quite so intense now from Italy, but they've got that man into touch. They've turned it over. George Hendy is taken in. It's an Italy ball.
White.
Again, I didn't really...
Well, they've made the call, have the host broadcasters here.
Nine.
Carlo Genovese, and let's be honest, Howie, it could have been any of a number.
Well, that's when he started on his tight end. I think he's gone to loose head as well, so I mean, he's... I say a good tight end's worth his weight in gold. He's got double weight there. He can play both sides. And again, that's been one of the big reasons that Italy, apart from their desire and just their mental ability just to get themselves up for this game, has been the scrum.
Diamond.
So Liss is coming to the last throw of the dice now for England. Again, they were a bit dull going up that blind side.
Inside.
Hendy keeping too high up in a tackle, getting bolded out.
Alessandro Garbisi is off. He's been replaced by Gianluca Tomaselli, another policeman from the Fiamma Oro Club in Rome, which is the police team. Also on is Palmari Poroncelli. 3.5 minutes. There he is, Tomaselli. Pumps it up high. Bailey comes across.
Play on.
Referee says play on. It was a contested ball. Falling on it there is Sam Edwards. Diego Bailey, I think, is hurt.
Time is off.
And that's why the referee has blown the whistle.
Pour moi, les deux montent au
But
ballon.
again,
On
two
est
people
d'accord?
going up for the ball, eyes on the ball,
repartira sur une
contesting
mêlée.
it, as you said, that's fine.
So,
Hane's coming in, he's got his
for
arms
me,
up, he's not
it's
looking
not
that
a foul
side.
play.
Same
Two
as
players
Bailey.
plays the ball,
Exactly.
so the player is injured, so we wait, and after we have a scrum for blue here.
For blue?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Well,
No,
it's a big
sorry.
call from the referee
Yes,
because
right,
she
sorry.
has decided they're going to restart
Sorry.
with an Italy scrum.
Otamendi has it come forward off.
We have a scrum here.
I don't know. I'll hold my hand up. She said it's a blue scrum.
Oui, Eric, c'est bien les blancs qui avaient le ballon.
Must have gone forward. Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's good to see that Diego Bailey is looking a little bit brighter now than he was even half a minute ago.
Are you checking for foul play? Or?
No.
No, just waiting for him to get
Yes.
set.
You may have heard almost a desperate call from one of the England players there saying, are you checking for foul play? And the referee said, no, I'm not.
Ouais, scrum.
A little more than 3 minutes to go. Italy lead by 6 points to 0.
Thank you so much.
Well, Dowie,
No, it's clear.
if we consider-
have a check, so it's not foul play.
certainly in the recent history of under-20 rugby,
No, HIA.
this is an
yes,
England
HIA.
side which
14.
has
14.
dominated the world
HIA.
over the course of the last
HIA.
decade. Remember, Jack Clifford's side won
Play, substitute.
the under-20 title in France in
No.
2013.
We have control,
Maro
it's not foul
Itoje
play.
took England to the world title 12 months
Thank you,
later
bye.
in Auckland.
No.
So
Alberto,
Diego
we wait
Bailey
for the substitution.
being told
So-
to go off for a
No.
head injury assessment, which will effectively rule him out of the rest of the match.
We have a doctor of. No,
And we've assessed him.
it's a match doctor to decide the situation. So if it's HIA, you have a substitution. Thank you.
Well, the referee explaining it's a decision taken by the match
Yes,
doctor.
yes, it's HIA.
Well, he's not happy, and you can understand the frustration, but the protocols are there for very good reason. So
Yeah. for
back
HIA.
comes Francis
Okay,
Moore
good.
to replace him.
Yeah, slight confusion because Bailey, again, he was down injured, so you've got to take every precaution.
Time is on.
Time's back
Scrum
on.
right.
I think the referee did say it was a blue scrum, wasn't it? But now it's a white scrum. It's all going on. Doesn't matter. 3 minutes. That's all England are going to concern about, and that's all Italy's going to be concerned about, to secure this lead, secure the victory, which would absolutely make this place rock.
Set! 21.
13 straight wins for England against Italy, and now they've got the penalty.
21.
2.5 minutes to go.
To push.
Tomaselli, the reserve scrum halves, come on, you can't touch your opposite number again. That's a bit of stupid play from Italy when they had the strength in the scrum. England will nudge this down, don't be too cute. Give themselves a launching pad, at least for one more attack. Here they go, England in a big meeting. The jog to the line out. Coming up just the 2 minutes to go before this place explodes.
2 minutes in which to save themselves. Finn Theobald-Thomas, just a word in his ear coming from Will Hobson. Just one more opportunity. Well, they've lost it of England, and you could see there how Tom Lockett was appealing. He felt he was interfered with in that line-out, but the referee says not. She's checked with Eric Cousin. 90 seconds to go. Italy have to be very, very careful here. There's Tomaselli.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, I'm hearing my ear, 1.5 minutes to go. That'd be about right, wouldn't it? You can see the clock in your top left. This is all about now. Can Italy hold England out? Can they be clean? They don't want to go off their feet.
And Italy have forced the penalty.
I think that is game. They're going to take 30 seconds or so to take this penalty. It doesn't matter what Knight does going up to have a chat with the referee. There's a minute to go.
It's fine.
Take the time, take the set, they'll walk to this line-up. This should be game. Doesn't matter. They don't deserve it. England have been outplayed tonight.
Time is off.
Tom Lockett was still appealing to the referee and saying that an Italian hand was all over him at the line-out.
Time on.
But his pleas are not being heard. One more kick for touch, one more set piece, and that will be pretty much it.
For les 50.
England have failed to score. 13 consecutive wins at this level for England and Italy are just one decent line-out away from ending. Predictably, they've gone short. The clock says we've got 10 seconds. The clock is counting down.
5.
It is a huge moment in Italian rugby, not just at under 20 level, but at all levels. European under 20 rugby has been spun off its axis. Italy have beaten the Grand Slam champions. A famous, famous night in Treviso. This is where the heart of Italian rugby beats. And I've got no doubt that the reverberations from this will be felt all the way south to Rome, with the Guinness Six Nations match coming up on Sunday. But if you are looking for a reason to believe that Italy belong at the top table of European rugby, you've seen it over the course of 80 minutes here in Treviso. These are tomorrow's men in Azzurri in the Guinness Six Nations. And how well they have done. A famous, famous night. Italy have beaten England by 6 points to 0.